Yo, GM. What's good, lads? Get this underway in a moment. Apologies for the delay this morning. Turn the music down. What is good, everybody, on this Monday morning? It's your boy, Rapture. Pull up our BTC weekly chart. How is everybody doing? Let's check out the chat real quick. Zero Koku says GM rap. GM, sir. Munar GMs. Tony Montana says G Meow. G Meow, thank you for being here. Just doing a few final back end things. How has everyone's weekend been? Okay, got those things sent out. And we're good to go on this beautiful Monday morning after the Super Bowl Sunday, where we decided to delay the weekly close show until this morning. There was zero chance I was going to compete with that. Excuse me. So what do we got here? We got the BTC weekly chart. Get rid of this now. We were, and I'm still looking for this level here, but we're going to go through everything that we do during our weekly close shows. And I just want to say welcome to Rapture's Scalp and Swing Sessions number 12, the weekly close show, the morning edition, where we're going to take a look at our high time frame levels, update our levels of importance that we're going to be monitoring for trade interactions to set up. We'll take a look at the weekly macro dashboard as well, see where we should be focusing our efforts, and we'll go through some strategy for the days and week ahead. Big shout out to Bing X for helping to sponsor these shows. Don't forget, if you're looking for a new exchange, consider joining Bing X and use code Rapture for those sign up bonuses. And we walked through the Bing X terminal during last session, and I have to say I'm impressed, especially for the type of trading that I like to do. Let's get rid of this banner, change up the background music. Let me know if the mic volume is good and if the music is quiet enough that it's not disruptive. Switch it up. There we go. Just some nice background noise for us. Pull the chart back up. Okay, so what do we have on BTC? Well, last week that we had that aggressive sell-off, which then got bought up quite a bit. And we came back up into our monthly level for an underside tag. Go take a look at monthly real quick. So we're into that monthly consolidation before the last big legs of the uptrend rally. We're still threatening to put in that monthly lower low close. Still 2/3 of the month to go. We could, get back up here and put in a impressive monthly SFP, but we're not going to try and predict for that. We're just going to allow price to do its thing. So maybe what we'll do, just go through the time frames here. I think we can finally put, this is not a swing low and the week just began and we don't know if this is going to be where the swing low is, but we can start to put our range quarters. Ooh, and look what we're hugging right now. Kind of interesting. Finding support on that weekly range quarter level. If this is going to be our weekly range. Still TBD though. We would have to close the weekly above this swing low, which is still a week away. But there's our levels. I'm just trying to see, can we get rid of some of these here? Like maybe we can get rid of that one. It's a monthly level though, right? That's our monthly swing low, so we're not going to get rid of that. It's just getting a bit jumbled in here though. Maybe I get rid of that one, but we had an interaction there, so it could prove to be important again on the way up. Let's try this out a bit. There we go. So in terms of weekly, nothing new has occurred other than we did close weekly below, right? We closed weekly below there. We closed weekly below there. So we did have a fresh weekly lower low close. Just drinking my coffee. And yeah, as I pointed out before, it was a bit of a hectic morning in my household. JJ, what's good, homie? Thank you for being here. Always appreciate it. It was a bit of a hectic morning, so I'm sorry for the delay. I wanted to start at 10 a.m. We are definitely behind schedule on that. I was waiting for some service people to arrive. And you know how they do. You got to operate on their schedule, so is what it was. But we're all good and back up and running now. Let's take a look at daily. On BTC, so we had our range low when we put in that swing low. We've had closes since, so that is officially our daily range low. Range high, range low. Might be setting up a daily swing high internal here. If we close like this, it's too early to tell. You can see the importance of that monthly level that we've had marked out, right? That's that level there. Here we are on H12. So last night, H12 put in an SFP of that swing high level there, which aligned with that monthly underside retest. Would have been a nice short there. I just was not focused on the market yesterday. Don't see any other levels of importance to change on the H12. I'm thinking we can probably start to eliminate some of these. Like probably that one and that one. Let's take a look back on daily. What I'm doing here is I'm just taking a look through on the different time frames to see what levels we might want to focus on for next potential trade setups. All right, like we had one here off the H12. H12 SFP, it's also an H4 level. We can go down H4, we can see, okay, These are potential longs that I'm looking for. I'm gonna get rid of these for now because they're gonna get in our way. So one thing that I can see on H4, probably get rid of that. One thing I can see on H4 is after we put in that H12 SFP, we put in an H4 bearish breaker right there. So that's worth being aware of. Like a retest up into here, you're probably looking for a next short. We can extend some of these over. Do I keep this H4 swing, or do we just keep the H12? We're so jumbled up in there. We'll keep it for now. This one might also become important. I think stuff up in here is probably no longer relevant. I'm going to start cleaning it up so that we're not all muddy. Yeah, like this can go. This one may become important, so let's extend that one over. I think this one can go. All right, because if it comes up into here, we're going to be interacting with that. Is it a weekly or monthly level? Either way, if it comes up to there, it's likely to interact with that. This one as well has that. We can tidy all those up. Just asking myself whether we need to keep that one. Okay, so there's your H4 bearish breaker. Why is that? Well, we put in that H12 SFP. This is the H4 swing low that created that H12 SFP. And then close below, confirming the breaker as a market structure break. So there's our H4 breaker. I think I'll probably get rid of this line. There we go. Let's clean that up a bit. Pop down to H1. So our long from Thursday night when I posted, I said this was the only long that I saw that I could possibly see as a setup for BTC, and that ended up playing out. It was a low time frame setup, H1 breaker, H1 SFP, H1 market structure break. It was a low time frame trade. Ran up into the monthly underside retest of the monthly level, and that was a good exit. Pointed out in the Telegram. By the way, if you're not in the Telegram, Rapture's trade book, you can find a link to that in the description for this video on YouTube or from my bio on Twitter, where I share my trade setups and charts a lot more frequently than I do on Twitter. So make sure you're in that Telegram channel for more frequent updates. Okay, well, we can get rid of this break now. It did its job. It's played out. And if price is going to come back down towards here, we're going to be looking for an H4 at minimum time frame interaction. Ideally, I still want this level down here into that monthly level that I've had marked out now for the last week. I'd want to see it to take out this daily range low into that monthly level and set up for a much better looking swing position than anything up in here. But these H4 levels as well, we'll be monitoring for interactions. So, and why do I think we're going to be forming a much longer drawn out range, like how we had here. We had that range that played out over 2 months, right? When did we set that low? November 21st to January 29th, right? That's a 2-month range, and then it broke. So likelihood of just a fast B reversal from here is low probability to me. we may push up again, up into here, but then come back down and form out of range, which is ideally what we want. And when price is ranging, we have trades all over the place. We just have to mark our high time frame levels and be prepared for those low time frame interactions, right? Oops. Extend that over. Let's fix up our high time frame levels a bit. We do have that H12 and daily supply in that region there. Like, we have a lot of levels to work with, which is great. I love environments like this because we have a lot of levels to trade interactions off of, right? Like, what am I all about? High time frame levels for signal, low time frame for execution, trading the interactions. And we use the mid time frames for our trade setups, right? Just like we had that H1 breaker down there. Well, now we've got an H4 breaker here, so maybe we're looking for that short within this region. And maybe that brings us back down to here, or maybe down to here. I'm not trying to predict anything. I'm just outlining the areas where I'm going to be looking for next trades. So that's pretty much it on BTC, right? We haven't confirmed the weekly range yet because we haven't had a proper swing low close. And also with a long wick like that, there's a high probability of at least backfilling part of it, if not the whole thing. It's a very common occurrence that when you put in a large wick like that, or some people call them pin bars. Oh, we just had an H4 close. Let's go and check that out, see what we got. Okay, well, this may end up being an H4 swing low that we might draw out, but we don't know yet, right? We have another H4 candle close before we can actually confirm that as a swing low. You can see how that weekly range quarter level, right? Like, when I draw out those range quarters, you may say to yourself, like, why is that why are you doing that? What's the importance of that? There's no real reason for it to be a level of importance other than they work out time and time again. You know, I've been in these markets long enough to know what works, and we're seeing those interactions, and they work. So I use them. Sometimes there's a propensity. I don't think that's the right word, but there's just like this need to overcomplicate things in trading a lot of the times, which is fine if that's how you trade, right? Like, if you're an order flow guy and you're deep in the weeds and the flows and everything like that, for me, it just kind of tends to be overcomplication. I went down that path. I studied deeply into order flow and auction market theory from some of the best, and really respect what they're doing and how they approach things. It just wasn't what made sense for me. What makes sense for me is high time frame levels, trading the interactions, less noise. Yes, there's a lot of levels, but that's just because I want to be prepared for when or if price gets there, so that I can decide whether I have a trade or not in near instance. Oops. Okay, so that's BTC. I'll share this chart in the Telegram as well, but you guys can, and just for clarity and reference, I use the Binance USDT.P pairs always for my analysis. I do execution on the trading platform that I use, the various trading platforms, to base the actual entries and stop losses and targets and stuff like that. But the signal that I use is based off of the Nance Perps chart, the USDT.P pair. Why is that? And that's for all coins. Why is that? Because they're the most watched, used charts in crypto. So what might be an SFP on the Binance pair, on the Perps pair, might not be on another exchange. And what might be on another exchange might not be on the Binance chart. But to me, And from my experience using the USDT.P pair from Binance, these charts are gospel. This is the most reliable in terms of your high time frame signal. On the low time frame, and when you're doing your execution, yes, use the chart that you're trading off of to execute. But when you're getting your signal, use the Nancy Perps pairs. I've seen it time and time again, them being the most reliable signal. So I'd rather just do that. It's the same as like back when I was trenching on chain, right? It was all about where are the most eyes on those charts, on those coins. At one point it was Photon, and then it was the BullX charts pairs, and the deck screener chart was never really that accurate. So it's, you have to meet the market where it is, and the majority of people are monitoring and trading off of Binance, right? It's still the highest volume exchange. So just meet the market where it is and do your execution on the platform that you're trading on. I've heard it often said, like, trade the chart that you're using. I think it misses out a very important thing, which is getting your signal from the chart where the market is. That's what I'll say about that. So that's BTC on the weekly, monthly, weekly, daily, H12, H4. We ran the gamut, right? Let's check out ETH, see what ETH is saying. Okay, so ETH closed below that weekly level there. Let's pop it out to monthly, take a look. Yeah, we're like deep into this territory, right? We lost that high time frame range. We haven't had a monthly close below, and we're still 2/3 of the month remaining, so we don't know that we're going to actually close below that. And if it recaptures this, then shit, yeah, we're much more inclined towards longs. I think from here, the fact that we front ran this, I've seen people do the whole meme line thing, right? But like, where do you draw your diagonal from? The trouble with diagonals and why I don't use them very much is they're very subjective, right? There's an element of interpretation by each trader where they're going to draw the diagonal from, right? Like, what are your anchor points? Where are you drawing them from? Are you drawing them from, each wick, or is it bodies? Like, how are you? And I've seen people argue about, oh, but you place it here. Well, yeah, of course, because it's fucking objective. Whereas horizontals are, it's subjective. Diagonals are subjective, whereas horizontals are objective. You can't deny where a horizontal is. It's not open to interpretation. That's why I prefer horizontals much more. Like, what are we trying to fit our bias into it? Well, if we're going to use that one, then, that's what I mean, right? So I am very hesitant ever to put, like, where are you anchoring from? Really? Where are you anchoring from? Where are you anchoring from? Right? Like, horizontals above everything. If you trade using diagonals and it works for you, more power to you. And I'm not trying to discourage that. I'm saying, for me, I'm all about horizontals. Big shout out to Big Cheds, who really unlocked that for me on a chart. Early in my trading journey, I was looking at a chart. It was just like inconsistent squiggle pattern, right? Where it's like no rhyme or reason. And I learned from him, like, it's all about horizontals. And as soon as you see that visually and you unlock horizontals in your brain, the charts become a whole lot easier. It's a lot simpler. Okay, so there's monthly. Weekly, I don't know, is that level ever going to be important? Like, what does ETH do from here, right? Made another weekly low close. We can probably do our range quarters the same as we did on BTC. I don't know that this is we don't know that this is a swing low yet. We have a whole week ahead of us. But for now, that's what we have to work with. I think it's very likely at a minimum we trade an inside week here. Same thing on BTC, but we're not going to lock that in until we get a weekly close within, and then we have an inside week high, an inside week low, similar to what on BTC. Remember over here from a couple weeks ago, this was our inside week. I was like, well, we took out the high. Likelihood we trade back down to the low, and then we just fucking nuked right through it. So this level will keep up on weekly. We'll extend it over a bit more. Is this going to be, I think because it's so close to the range quarter, I don't know. I think I can probably get rid of that one. Yeah, let's nuke that. Let's nuke it. Let's clean it up a bit so we're not jumbled. Not much else to change on weekly. Daily. I have 3-day. I rarely ever use 3-day. There was a time when I was looking at 3-day. I don't really use 3-day at all anymore. Okay, so similar on BTC. We now have our daily range low, right? Because I mostly focus on BTC, so I'm not updating these as often as other charts. Anything below BTC as a market cap, it's less important. It's like BTC, ETH, and SOL are the 3 that I pay the most attention to, but BTC is really where I'm updating on a frequent basis. So learn from me during these high time frame sessions how it is that I'm marking out levels, because you can do this on your own, right? You don't need me to show you this. Once you grasp it and it becomes second nature for you, like just do this, right? You get a daily close. Okay, mark out your daily levels. H12, which is the same as daily close, but you also get one early in the morning, right? 7 p.m. Eastern time, 7 a.m. Eastern time, or midnight UTC, noon UTC, and just base it off of that, right? So daily range is now set. We have our supply there. We have our weekly range quarter. Look at where it stopped dead on, right? You know, an underside test of that monthly level. There's no other levels to mark out here. We have a few areas of supply. Put on H12. You can see that we had that like to the tick, right? Look at that. Just taking a look to see if there's any other H12 levels we might want marked out. I mean, I can mark that one, but it's very clearly the same as that range quarter, so I'm not going to touch it. Pop down to H4 now, see what we got. Okay, so H4 is Chop City, and this was the weekend, right? It was expected, right? If you trade Saturdays, like, just take the day off. For the odd time that there's going to get a move on Saturday, who cares? Get the next one, right? It's better for your mind state to actually have a full day where you just really don't look at the market at all. You know, given that crypto is 24/7, it's really easy to be locked into your screen time, right? But there's more than enough opportunities every single day in this market that just give yourself at least one day where you don't look at the market, or you barely look at the market. Maybe you just look at it once when you wake up and once before bed, but just don't worry about what happens during the day. Who cares if you miss some random move on a Saturday? And that's, you know, market conditions dependent. You know, what we can do is we can go to Velo. Go to Velo. Come on, it's loading. Sorry, I'm just pulling up Velo and it's taking sweet ass time to load. I wonder if Velo is experiencing. Okay, well, I'm gonna stop doing that for now until it loads. Maybe Velo is down at the moment because the site is not loading. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that. But what we can do the next time Velo is operational, I don't know why it's not working, is, you know, you go to their markets page and their futures pages, and you can just see, okay, so okay, here we go. Did everything just freeze? Feels like everything just froze. Can you guys hear me? Let me just stop sharing for a moment. Okay, 1 second, guys. 1 second. Can you guys still hear me? Yeah, you can hear me fine, but the screen froze. Okay, let me. Yeah, okay, perfect. Genesis Brian says, "Can hear you just fine." Welcome, a new face. How are you, Genesis Brian? Okay, the audio is still working, but the picture fucked off for a second. So let me fix that. Okay. Okay, I think I got it under control. Here we go. Genesis Brian gave a wave. What's good? Thank you for being here. It's really lagging trying to share my screen. Uh-oh, what is going on? What is going on? You guys can still hear me, but it's not okay. Oh, there we go. All right, so we're here on the Velo Futures tab for BTC. And we can just go to look right here. This is your 1 month average return by day. We can change the time frame, right? Let's go look at 3 months. Saturday. I mean, this is a pretty grim picture of the market, where the market's been, right? It looks like Thursdays we really want to be short. But Saturday, very limited movement. Sunday, Monday. It looks like we want to be looking for potential longs into tomorrow. This is a part of my process, though. I use Velo to look at things like this, right? And what this just means is, by day of the week, how does BTC perform? Really paints a grim picture of Thursdays, doesn't it? But it's very muted, right? So we can go shorter time frame, even over the last week, right? Like no movement on a Saturday. And aggregated over a weekend, very limited movement, right? So like give yourselves at least 1 day per week where you take it off. And if you miss a move on a Saturday, who fucking cares, right? Like there's always another trade. That's what we talk about, is especially using the high time frame levels, low time frame execution. You're always going to be able to find a trade. You don't need to feel like you're missing out. Let's come back over here to the ETH pair. So what do I see here? So there's a swing low here. It's probably the similar one that we have on BTC. Similar one that we have on BTC. I do see that we put in that H4 SFP, and I'm just taking a look here. So there was your H4 bearish breaker, and look at exactly where it came in underside tagged into, right? Zooming out a little bit, can I start to clean up some of these levels? Probably get rid of that. Maybe this becomes important again in the future. Hold on to that for now. I don't know if this will. I mean, it was a key level, so we'll hold on to it for now. But we're really up into this area of supply. H4 SFP, H4 bearish breaker. Similar picture to BTC, except BTC put in an H12 SFP, and ETH only an H4. Well, it did put in the H12 sweep into that range quarter. Okay, so that's ETH. Again, I'll share these charts in my Telegram channel so you guys can mark off the levels, but follow along with me live, right? Like as I'm updating levels, just follow along. Mark your levels. Mark your levels, right? I will beat that drum to death. Just mark your high time frame levels. Well, last session, in the New York Open show, I outlined, I was like, well, a couple trades I'd be looking for on Solana. This is generally looking weaker than BTC and ETH. Let's just get rid of that. What am I doing? Get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's go back up to monthly, see what we're doing. Yeah, I mean, lost that multi-year range and went bombs away after. So this was interesting, right? We spoke about, is Solana going to put in a weekly SFP here? And it did. So that's kind of interesting. Let's mark this out. There's our range quarters, similar that we did for BTC and ETH. And if you're wondering what the range quarters are, it's just a fib. A fib preset to have the 0, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, and 1. These are just jumbled. Don't ask me why. You know, you can just line them up all down in a row. Make use of presets because they will save you so much time. But it's just your range quarters. I have lines extended right. I don't know why there's a background color on that. It does not need a background color. I can probably conserve some CPU resources by turning that off. No prices, no levels. I just like the lines. I just like to have my levels to trade off of, right? Like I don't need to see those. I don't need to see the prices either. Because to me, prices are relevant. I just care about the interactions at levels, right? So that's all that the range quarters are. It's a fib with 0, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, and 1. That's just your range quarters. There's our weekly. So let's see what took place on this SFP here, this weekly SFP. Let's see on daily. Okay, so nowhere near our daily breaker. We can set our daily range low now, though, because we have it here. There is our daily bearish range on Solana from there. There to there. There's our bearish daily range. We have supply along the way. Extend those out. Right. Order block there, order block there. Those are supply zones. Pop down to H12. Okay, so something that stands out to me is we do have an H12 swing high right here that it couldn't even pop up into for the SFP. Did it SFP that level there? Okay, so it looks like, did it SFP that level? No, it didn't even tag. Look, that's how weak Solana's been, right? It couldn't even, as BTC put in that H12 SFP, Sol couldn't SFP either of those, right? Shows you the weakness there. I think we can get rid of this now. Can we get rid of that? Okay, well this, is that a daily level? No, that's H12. So I think we're going to move this to here since this is actually. Okay, so there's our H12 levels. I think if this does push up, it's more likely that it takes the top one rather than the lower one. So let's get rid of that. There's our H12 levels of importance. Can I get rid of this? I don't know yet. We'll hold on to it for now. Let's draw these out of it. Because who knows how long it takes for price to get to those levels, right? We have no idea. There's our market structure break level for daily and H12. Go down to H4. Okay, so this is the H4 breaker off that weekly SFP, and it has not confirmed at all. Sorry, this box here. I'll probably get rid of that. Right, this is the swing high that created the weekly SFP. If we close above that, that's a bullish H4 breaker, but we don't have that. We've just been chopping around in here. And in fact, we could probably tighten it up to, if it closes above there, we get an internal market structure shift type breaker. And then we'd be looking for a long after that. But I did point out last time, like, if we get up above here, this is exactly what we spoke about last session. If we get above here for the close, you're right in the daily supply. And I don't want to be long in daily supply. So you're kind of like between a rock and a hard place. What we really want would be to come down deeper into one of these levels to set up as a long, Right now, I just don't see it. I don't see the risk to reward on it. Let's see. Did it even put in an H4 SFP? Okay, so I do see this right here is a bearish H4 breaker. Why is that? Well, we put an H4 SFP right there. There was an H4 SFP, closed below the swing low that created that SFP. There's an H4 bearish breaker. I think overall we just get rid of this box. I don't know that we're hunting longs on Solana. Let's get rid of that. There's that bearish breaker there. That's our H12 level, right? Yeah, that's the H12 level. This one here is the H12 level. Does this end up going on to become important in the future? I don't know. We'll find out. Let's just mark out a few more H4 levels in here. What kind of interaction did this give us? Yeah, nothing notable. Okay, we don't need it. Actually, what we can do is that candle closed here. We have an H4 level there. So maybe we get an interaction off that we can base a long off of. As of right now, though. No. Okay, so those are our high time frame levels on BTC, ETH, and SOL. Does anyone have any questions or want me to explain anything further about those? Because we've ran through them by now. Let's take a look one more time back at these. Interesting that Solana has set an H4 swing low here when BTC and ETH are still in progress, right? Why is that? Why is that a confirmed swing low? Well, because high, low, high closes, and we're into the candle after. So that swing low, that swing level is a confirmed swing level, right? For me, a swing level is a 3-candle pattern. It's a high, low, high with the middle candle, including the wick, being the lowest point of a swing low. And for a swing high, it's a low, high, low with the middle candle, including the wick being the highest point. So there's our swing levels. There's our daily range, bunch of internal levels on H12 and H4. We've got our monthly and weekly levels there as well, market structure break level, areas of supply across BTC, ETH, and SOL. So now we have our levels. We're in no man's land here. Yes, we're into this weekly range quarter. But there's no trade there for me at the moment. For you all familiar from my Telegram channel, I did mention at the end of last week that when it comes to these low time frame execution shows, not like this, not today's session. Today is a high time frame weekly close session. But for the New York Open sessions, where we're focused on live trade setups, taking live trades, and low time frame execution, I don't think it's going to work out on a set time, because I've been finding that I've been forcing myself to find trades that are slightly outside of my set of conditions for me to take a trade, right? Like I'm all about the high time frame level and then the low time frame stuff. And last session and one before, I noticed I was kind of trying to force a trade because we were live and I was hunting trades with you guys. So I think how I'm going to approach it is do those more on an impromptu schedule, as in when price is approaching or into one of my high time frame levels, I just pop on live real quick for a quick 10-15 minutes to outline the level, outline the setup, show whether I'm long or short, and let the market do the rest of the move, the lifting from there. Because trying to force it into a set time, especially since, yes, I will have session levels up here. I just pop the indicators back on real quick. Here, let's open up the M15. Yes, I have the session levels on, right? Like the New York session, London session, Asian session. I don't know why Asian's not showing here. What is this chart? This is funky. This is fucking gnarly. Yeah, we got London, New York, Asian session levels. I'm more focused on my own high time frame levels than those. And maybe I should start some live sessions where we're just focused on those things, right? Like, right, where we're just focused on things like the Asian and London levels, highs and lows to take out during New York as trades. But personally, from my own strategy and my own process and my own set of conditions, and watching my P&L curve and my consistency and knowing where my consistency lies, it's all from my high time frame levels. So it doesn't make sense for me to try and force trades off of levels that I don't trade when I'm not live. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, just for the sake of trying to find a trade because we're live. So I'm going to I'm going to start once price gets into one of my levels, then hopping on live for a quick 10 to 15 minutes. And then what we'll do for the scheduled sessions, we'll run 2 high time frame sessions per week, right? We'll run the weekly close, which will typically be Sunday nights. You know, just yesterday was shifted because of the Super Bowl. But we'll run 2 high time frame level sessions per week, the weekly close and then one midweek, whether that's after well, I don't want to do it Monday night because that'll be right after Sunday night. But the reason why I'd say about Monday is because you get the Monday range, right? But we'll do Sunday, and then maybe that's a Wednesday. Maybe we do a Wednesday, Sunday cadence for the high time frame level shows so that you get 2 of those per week. So you can just join me live and map at your levels to understand the levels that we're looking for so you can mark them on your own charts. And then for those real-time trades, the trade setups as they happen, the trades that I'm taking live, and the low time frame execution, we package that into just when they're setting up, then I go live, like really quickly, just for like 10, 15 minutes, so you can get the real-time update, take the trade if you're at your desk and able to execute in that moment, right? Like the low time frame execution trades, right? Like, you need to be live in the market for those. You can't just be like, oh, he took this trade 4 hours ago, I'm going to take this trade now. No, it's not how it works, right? So I think that's going to be the move moving forward. Again, there's no trade for me here right now, right? Pop down again to, well, let's just see what's been going on low time frame on BTC here this morning. This is the M1, right? This is my main execution time frame. And so, okay, so here we can point out, and what I will do, if we're not going to be running them as pre-scheduled, I'll continue to show you guys as well on the high time frame shows, like the stuff you look for. All right, so this was at H12 level, aggressive market buying into the level. It went through the level. You got those late, right? You got those late market buyers with the bubbles. You lost the H12 level, back with inside. This would have been a bit of a tough one to execute, right? Because when you're getting up into here, there's no, like this level here is from the breaker that we drew. It wouldn't be there until after that SFP. So actually, get the fuck out of here. Shush. I hate phone calls. Like, they're just so intrusive, especially from random numbers. This one would have been tough because it came through the level and then you got the late, right? But when you've got that immediate rejection and engulfing that whole candle with those late market buyers who you know are now trapped once you get below there, you could have either waited to get back below the level and then take the short or ride it off the moving averages, right? Because it ended up being a good short. I do recommend using market bubbles from Leviathan, right? Like, look how often those mark reversals, especially if you have them into your levels, right? You're not just taking them in the middle of nowhere, into averages, into stuff like that. They're good for using for exits as well. Like, just looking on low time frames of where we're at right now. Yeah, we're rejecting off the session VWAP. Has done that a few times today. We also, this morning, had a reversal off the London low. So you can very much trade these levels. And maybe I'll brush up on those skills a little bit more and we can run those live, just focused on those, right? Like, let's get rid of my drawings for a second, right? You can very much approach it just from having your session levels with the other indicators and trading those, right? SFP into the London low. Long off the reclaim. SFP into the averages, right? SFPs into the averages. But my main focus is my high time frame levels. You know, like boom, there. Or boom, when we came up into here. Because last session, it was on Friday. We were in here. And I was trying to short just a little bit too early. And I got stopped. Because I was trying to force a trade in here. And after the show, I looked at my chart. I was like, why the fuck was I trying to force something here? I was like, the trade was right there. That was a long-winded way of talking about how, like, I feel compelled to have to find a trade for you guys live when it's scheduled. If I just wait and pop on impromptu when we hit a level or as we're approaching the level, it's going to yield much better results for you guys. Because I'm all about the process and a set of conditions aligning. The if this, then that's. Just being real with you guys. Just being real. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the weekly macro dashboard. All right, let's pop this over here. All right, we looked at BTC, ETH, and SOL. We didn't look at hype. I can look at hype real quick, actually, to see where we're at, because I haven't looked at it in a few days. So save this. We'll open the high time frame swing. Oh, here's the lighter chart that we were looking at from last session. Over into that bullish H12 breaker. Maybe it's trying to bottom here, but everyone was getting super bullish on lighter, right? Look, we put in another H12 SFP of the range, like there. I don't know. I just don't really see it. Like, a lot of people are bullish this thing. I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people that I respect their judgment and analysis, although I only focus on my own analysis. I can respect the way that other people approach charts, but I just never listen to their. I find it just clouds my own judgment. I'd rather be clear on my own setups. So we're into that H12 breaker. Here it is on H4. I don't know. If you were looking for a long to hunt on later, it's going to come from somewhere in here. Like, here's the H1 breaker again. Putting in a possible H1 SFP there. Let's see. Is it? Yeah, H1 SFP. So maybe you're getting an entry here on lighter. I know I just said hype, but it just popped up. So just taking a look at lighter for a second. Let's move to hype. Zoom back out. Okay, well, you know, everyone was jumped into longing here. Well, now we're back within. We held supply weekly supply. I still want the long from down in here. And on this trajectory, it's looking likely that it's going to happen. Just have patience. Don't jump the gun on any of this, right? There's weekly. This is our weekly bullish breaker. That's a quality high time frame signal. I'm not saying that this isn't a bullish chart. It very much is. I just think you have time. You can get a much better entry than trying to, right? Like, look at this. Whole timeline getting very vocal about hype, and this is what this is very distributive. And I said that last session on Friday. I was like, this is starting to look very distributive. Well, doesn't mean that it's not bullish. I just would like come down into here, right? We can adjust some more levels. So let's go to daily for a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, so okay, that's our daily range right there. It's a bullish range. It's a bullish range. There's no denying that. Get rid of this. Oops. Get rid of that. Probably put this as the MSB level. Here's that daily fair value gap, but realistically now, because it's shifted, this is our daily demand, order block style, daily demand. Come down, give me an SFP on daily, RH12, down into here, into the weekly breaker. Give me, just come down into here. Give me this weekly breaker. Give me a H12 SFP into here. There's your trade, right? Just have a little bit of patience. Like, you don't want to be trading this. This is schizo price action. And it is, right? You can see that. If I was a horizontal trend line guy, like, you can see that. Well, there's some averages aligning with down here, right? The H4 EMA 200. Give me a pop down into here, hold H, you know, something like that. Okay, that's hype. Let's now move to my weekly macro dashboard. Let's take a look at what we've got. We got BTCD, total ES divided by BTC, the Dixie, ETH BTC, SOL BTC, SOL ETH. And how do I use this? It's just my gauge of where I should be putting my focus in the market for the days and weeks ahead. Right, we had that weekly SFP of the high a few weeks ago. Well, now we've had follow through that. BTCD has been trending down, but I look around, like total ES divided by BTC, which is my gauge overall. Oh, shit, screen. Fuck. Ah. Fuck sakes. Fuck sakes. Thanks, lads, in the chat. How long ago did I do that? Oh my god. I need like a ding or something that lets me know about that. Fuck. Shit. It's not the first time I've done that. Oh my god. Sorry, lads. Okay. Let's come back over here real quick, because this is where we were. So, thank you, Genesis Brian. Thank you, Munar. Jesus, lads. Jesus. Crap. Okay, so we were looking at hype. This is the weekly chart. This is the weekly bullish breaker that we're looking for. We're looking for a setup to take place down here. Everyone was getting bullish up into here. I said, let's be real. Let's analyze the chart and have a clear-headed perspective on where we'd be looking for next longs. Well, this is the weekly bullish breaker. It's a high quality, high time frame signal. The chart is bullish, but we're into supply here. This is our bullish breaker. Here we are on H12. Right, like this has just been chop city. You don't want to be involved trading this. It's just, you know, trending downwards. We've got our daily demand here, our daily range. It's a bullish daily range. This is daily demand. what I would love is to come down into the weekly breaker, put in a daily or weekly or a daily SFP into the weekly breaker, bullish SFP, and there's your setup, right? Or maybe it's going to take place in here and we don't actually come down to here, but it just seems, especially given the trajectory of weekly here, it looks very likely that you're going to get that. Just have to have a little bit of patience. Saying trading this is just schizo. This is schizo price action. This looks very distributive, right? And the H4 EMA 200 is down here, so I would like something to just come down into here. There's your better long. Longing from anywhere in here has just been a painful hold, right? So that's hype. What was this? Oh, this was our H1 breaker that we outlined. Held. And we had a second H1 breaker that put in that also held. Right? We can get rid of these now. I don't want these here because the trade we're looking for is down into here, the long rather than a short. Where you had those SFPs up into there. The better trade you're looking for is a long, that rather than trying to short this from here. So we just cleaned it up a bit. That's what we're looking for. Give me that weekly pullback into the weekly bullish breaker. And take a look at lighter real quick. So what I was saying on lighter was, I know a lot of guys that I respect that were getting super bullish on lighter. I just don't see it. It just looks, it's going more side, like the dramatic drawdown is slowed. But doesn't this look a whole awful lot like we started to go sideways and then, I don't know. That's just me. That's just me though. So a lot of guys that I respect their analysis. I don't listen to other people's analysis very much. The only thing that I will do is like, okay, if a lot of guys are focusing on this coin, maybe I should take a look and see if there's trades there. It's held the supply zone at a bearish daily range. It's held the supply perfectly. We do have a bullish H12 breaker and we're into the high time frame level there. So maybe you're getting along here within that bullish H12 breaker. Here we are on H4. If you're looking for a long on this, it's going to happen somewhere in here. I think I even said on H1. Yeah, so there it is. There's your H1 SFP there, right? So if there's a long on lighter, it's here. I'm just not really that excited about it. And we can also see now, right? We do those weekly range quarters when we're having inside week. Well, there we go, right? This was, and we've been trading within, have we been trading within that one as well? Or did that close below? No, that closed below and we outlined that a few weeks ago. So this week here, this is now inside week because this week, once this week's set, we've been trading within the high and low of that week. Now for one, we're into our second week trading within that. Well, third week if we count that week, but we're inside week. So there's some more levels. Now we can take a look. You can see the importance of those range quarters. We're into our range quarter now. So if you're looking for a trade on lighter, it's likely here for a long. Bullish H12 breaker, weekly range quarter, putting in an H4 move into there, or an H12 move into there. But the supply is still held on daily. You can see that range quarter level is also that market structure break level. If you're looking for a long on lighter, this might be it here. I'm not going to take the trade, I'll be honest. I'm not interested in trading lighter. I got my airdrop, sold it near the top, and I'm good. But that is what I see on lighter. If you're looking for a long on lighter, this is probably it here. Okay, now we're caught up on hype and lighter weekly setups, the high time frame, more swing type positions. Again, apologies for the screen. I got to figure out how to not let that happen, because it's happened a few times and I don't like that. I like being professional and not letting shit slide. So I need to figure out a system so that I don't let that happen, because that just wastes your time. It wastes your time, it wastes my time. I'm not about that. Okay. That was hype. That was lighter. Now let's go to the macro dashboard. Here we go. So we have BTCD, total ES divided by BTC Dixie, ETH BTC, SOL BTC, SOL ETH, all on weekly time frames. We had that bearish weekly SFP on BTCD up here. Well, we've had follow through. What I am a little confused about, though, is like, did alts do very well? Like, I'm looking at total ES BTC here, which is my barometer for alt health, which is the total crypto market clap. The market clap. We got that market clap. That market clap. Total crypto market cap, excluding stable coins, divided by BTC. So this is my barometer for alt health. And alts didn't do shit. Alts didn't do shit. So I am confused about why this is going down, unless people have just been exiting all crypto into stables, which would not be a great sign. Right? If the total crypto market cap is escaping the system into stable coins, means they're probably off ramping, right? That's not great. That is not a great sign, right? Because if we look at ETH BTC, no real movement to the upside. So there hasn't been capital flowing into ETH out of BTC. Definitely hasn't been flowing at a SOL into BTC, other than, you know, there was a bit of a wick there, but not to the effect and type of capital that would put in that kind of move. And SOL ETH is just isn't doing anything. So I'll be honest, that's a little bit concerning. Insofar as, well, we did SFP down there on the bottom. It's a tightening channel, but the fact that BTCD during the peak last week lost 2.75%, almost 3% of its total market cap, or sorry, of its total dominance in the market. Meanwhile, this didn't do anything, which was the total ES. This didn't do anything. From there to there, gained 7% against BTC. I don't know. This still kind of says to me that capital is exiting into stables or exiting the market. Not great. It's not great. From an overall dashboard perspective, an overview, weekly macro dashboard overview perspective, looking at things, maybe Dixie might rally. Are you putting that weekly SFP there? Let's take a look here. Do we have, we can put these things on the dollar too, right? Like, there's your bullish H12 breaker off of the weekly SFP. Right, like, you can do all this stuff the same way we analyze any chart, right? Not using these as trade ideas in of themselves, unless you're trading the dollar, but as where to focus my energy and my efforts for the days and weeks ahead, right? Like, none of this off the weekly macro dashboard is ever a trade idea. In fact, nothing of what I share is financial advice, obviously. You take trades at your own risk. I'm just trying to share with you a strategy and system that works for me. But definitely off of these macro charts, it's not about taking a trade based off of it. It's just about where should you focus your attention for the days and weeks ahead. I'm just looking at things here. I don't know. What do you guys think when you look at this? Like, BTCD clearly rolling over a bit. Maybe it's going to find a bottom again in this demand after putting a weekly SFP there. Total ES does not look great. Like, I could see it easily dropping down into here again. SOL BTC looks horrific. Well, let's take a look at this on monthly. Very similar to the SOL chart, right? And in fact, if we come over to here, can't unsee that, right? This pattern on ETH BTC, well, it's looking very similar on SOL BTC. I don't know. It's over a long enough time horizon, everything trends towards zero against BTC, regardless of what it is or what it does, right? It's been proven time and time again, and you can't deny that. So maybe we're somewhere here in terms of where we were on the ETH BTC chart. Maybe we're somewhere here on the SOL BTC chart. All right, it's looking very eerily similar. Let's take a look at SOL ETH that way on monthly. Ooh, that's an ugly looking chart. Like there's one you can draw a trend line off of. Do I see a level of importance on this? Well, there. Okay, so we have that. So maybe SOL ETH bottoms somewhere down here. I don't think it bottoms here on monthly. But back to what we were talking about, like, what picture does this paint for me right now in terms of where I would want to focus my attention and my efforts? This is a tough one. SOL ETH, SOL BTC in the middle of nowhere. I don't want to focus on SOL. SOL ETH, a lot of Chop City, but ultimately I think it's going to head down towards here. ETH BTC, let's take a look at monthly and see if there's a level that we can see that is important on here. I mean, I think it eventually comes back down to here. Yeah, there's a monthly fair value gap in there. Right there. That's into. So maybe that's where we're trying to find support right now. I just don't put as high of a weighting into that. All right, like you know, Tom Lee keeps blasting. Where would I focus right now? It's a tough one. I think outside of the occasional outliers, like how hype was the outlier 2 weeks ago when we nailed that weekly SFP H4 breaker setup, nailed that long. Outside of a few coins like that, I mean, personally, I was going to continue to focus on BTC. And if you want that extra, if you want to capture those extra percents on top of the BTC, just express that trade on ETH or SOL, but bearing in mind that ETH BTC looks like shit, SOL BTC looks like shit, SOL ETH is, I don't know. This is a tough one to read. These are just a little bit more clear for me. Like total yes, doesn't look great. It lost that weekly level that it held since July, right? Swept it down below it. It could still come up into here, and we'd be looking to hard short all alts again if it gets back, if we get a bounce up into there. It is a tough one to read right now. I'm not going to deny that. Let's extend this over. This, how long have we been doing this for? Yeah, since July as well of last year. August, September, October, November, December, January, February, 7 months of channel compression. Eventually, when we break out of these, it's going to be violent. And historically speaking, BTCD starts to trend back up, right? Now, this is a way more compressed version of this, right? If we just take a look here. All right. Well, this is a way more compressed version of that. Unfortunately, not much alpha to glean from the weekly macro dashboard this week. Yeah, a tough one. Let's pop back over to here. Let's take a look at BTC and see where we're at right now. Well, we're into that H4 bearish breaker now, off the H12 SFP. And come down over to here, see. No immediate short that I can see right now. We can get rid of this. Let's just get rid of this. Get rid of that. Yeah, let's get rid of that. I'm not going to take another H1 trade off of that. There's our H4 levels, our H12 levels, our daily levels, our weekly, and our monthly. Where are we at? We're approaching an hour and a half. We're going to start wrapping this up. Does anyone have any questions or requests for any charts before I do? Again, this has been our weekly close show where our focus has been on high time frame levels, strategy for the days and week ahead, as well as a look at our weekly macro dashboard overview, which wasn't very insightful this week, I would say. And makes sense. We just had another aggressive week of selling. Now we're going through that sideways chop. People are confused, right? When we were over here, there's a lot of confusion. People don't know how to trade ranges. Well, we do. We took a lot of trades here. Just playing high time frame levels, right? Well, we're going to keep doing that. If there's no questions or requests, I am going to wrap it up. Hope you all have a wonderful start to your week. Keep an eye out for those impromptu live trade sessions, the low time frame execution sessions, if and when one of the levels hits. I have to figure out how I'm going to just be prepared to stream on such a short notice, because it's very time sensitive, right? So maybe I just have a session always just loaded and ready to go, that as soon as something pops up, I can take my trade and pop on live real quick to show you guys the trades as they happen. Well, once again, this has been Rapture's Scalp and Swing Sessions number 12, the weekly close show, morning edition. We took a look at BTC, ETH, SOL, hype, and lighter. We dove into our high time frame levels of importance and a little bit of strategy for the days and week ahead. We also looked at the weekly macro dashboard, which unfortunately wasn't too dripping with alpha this week. It's a little cloudy. I will say it's a little bit cloudy. It does look like capital has been exiting the market. I mean, we know it has, but I just mean in terms of capital remaining in the market in like, what we could, that's one thing we'll do before we wrap up. And maybe it's the chart that I can add to the weekly macro dashboard. Let's just really quick, because maybe the Dixie is less important. It's to be H12. This is supposed to be H1. What happened there? Okay. Everything's back to normal there. Let's go back to the macro dashboard really quick. And let's just, what is it USDT.D? Oh, I want to remove swap. Maybe it'll give it to me here. There we go. The USDT dominance chart. Let's pop that open for a second. Oh, and look at that. Look at that, lads. Look at that. So it wasn't so much that people were exiting BTC and BTC was going down as they were going to alts. They were moving into cash. Never once open this chart. Let's just take a quick, let's do what we do. Let's do what we do so you guys can get, well, all-time high monthly close for USDT dominance. We ran into that level. There's our low. There's our very high time frame monthly stablecoin USDT range. Here's our mid range. There we go. It's as simple as that, right? You let your eyes do the guiding. It's as simple as that. 3 levels on monthly. Well, we came up into there, but there is 2/3 of the month to go. There's monthly. Here we are on weekly. We can do a similar thing as we do our ranged quarters on weekly. We don't know that that's going to be the swing high yet, but there we go. There's some ranged quarters. Maybe this is going to be a more useful chart than the Dixie. Maybe I should start incorporating this, right? Well, what can I see? We SFP'd a whole lot of weekly levels. So this could bode well for our coins. Let's see what we got. Do I have, okay, well, the ETH SOL breaker is ridiculous off that weekly SFP. Like, you just see how aggressively and rapidly last week people were moving into stable coins and out of the market. Well, the breaker's all the way down there, not very helpful for us. Go down to H4, there's your H4 breaker. You know, if this flips, closes below, maybe we're going to get a rally into BTC or crypto in general, the coins, all of our coins. Excuse me. Right, like this isn't a trade idea of itself. It's just where we're going to focus our efforts. You know what? We're going to replace the Dixie with the USDT.D, the USD Tether stablecoin dominance in the market, because this is useful. This is very useful. I'm surprised we never actually looked at it. See, you learn something new every day. You see, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Bullshit. The dog just needs to be willing to fucking learn, especially when there's money on the line. What I can even do here is, okay, what I see, you know how we've done the market structure shift style breakers? Well, there's your H12. If it closes below there on H12, then we can say that USDT dominance is rolling over. And this makes sense, right? Like this took place on Thursday when everyone caught 60K. I mean, you can see it took place, right? This is not hearsay. This is factual. Money moved out of stable coins on Thursday. Let's just take a look over here on BTCD. Right, that's here. That was here. That was here. On BTCD. Okay, so we're going to start using the USDT.D pair on the macro dashboard. Gave you guys a little overview there. That's just one more thing that I would do. So on weekly, let's just mark out our supply and demand. There's supply. That's weekly supply. And there's weekly demand. Real simple, right? Real simple, real clean. You don't have to overcomplicate things. It takes all of 2 seconds to get that shit mapped out. Just learn my process. Do this shit yourself, right? Like, I'm a big proponent of teach a man to fish. That's how I got here. That's how I got to consistency. You're never going to be consistent if you're just trying to take other people's trades or follow other people's signals, right? I'm never going to be a signal service. Never. I will share my setups and how I approach them and why I approach them that way and why or why not I took a trade. I don't ever want to be a signal service. There's a bunch of, there's thousands of grifters out there. If that's what you're looking for, you can go pay them for signals. I would rather you learn how to actually trade so you can do this for yourself in perpetuity. As long as you have an internet connection and some capital to trade with, crypto enables you to do this 24/7 from anywhere in the world. So there is our updated crypto weekly macro dashboard with the USDT.D pair now finding a home and replacing the Dixie. Because the Dixie hasn't been very useful. This is going to be more useful for us. This is, I can already see the usefulness in this. So, lads, once again, this has been Rapture Scalp and Swing Sessions number 12, the weekly close show morning edition. I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor, the partner to this show, BangX. If you're looking for a new exchange, go check out BangX and use code Rapture to claim all those juicy sign-up bonuses. And once again, I appreciate everyone that tuned in. The replays will be available shortly after. I want you all to have a fantastic start to your week, and I'll catch up with you guys for the next live session. Rapture out. Ooh, and before I forget, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you appreciate what I am doing here. Help me grow the show. All of your engagement helps. So please do like, subscribe, and comment, and I will catch up with you guys next time. Ciao.